Okay. So for this session, what I'll do is I'll do the entire session recording and I'll share that recording with you so that you can remember, because the settings what we are going to do is only one time setting. One time setting in the sense, normally it need not to be done every time when we start NX. We need to do it only the time we install NX for the first time in any particular system. So basically you are not going to encounter the settings until and unless you switch your system to another PC or your workstation to another area. So that is the time you need to do the setting again. Otherwise, you don't have to do the settings again and again. The first setting we are going to do is we need to change the way the sketcher behave in NX. Now, I'm not sure like which kind of sketcher you are going to use or what you are using. The first setting is we need to go to File, Utilities, and there is an option called Early Access Features. Okay, so there is an option here in File, Utilities. There is an option called Early Access Feature. So you have to go in this area, Early Access Feature, and there will be an option use new solver for UI, for use new solver and UI for sketching. We need to keep it off. Okay, the setting value, the state should be off. If it is not, then you can right click on it and you can change it. Okay, so this particular setting need to be off. Now, why this particular setting need to be off? Because NX has introduced a new sketching environment, but it has not been adapted by many of the users. Like many old users of NX are not adapting to the new sketching environment because it is not giving the correct results, the results what we normally wanted. Not up to the mark. Yeah, not up to the mark, we can say. So that is the results. We are not using that new environment, and now by default it comes as off. Okay, but now we need to turn it off. If you are using your particular version, you need to turn it off manually. Okay, once it is off, then it will once you click OK, you need to restart your system to take that, sorry, restart your NX to make that setting affected. Otherwise that setting will not have any effect on your NX. So after making this change, restart for activation, you can see over here there is a column here, restart for activation. It is said as yes. So that means you have to restart your NX in order the setting to get affected. Now, next setting is, normally in NX we cannot see all the commands here. I can see it's many of my commands over here. Now what I can do is, we both can do is, let us compare the screen. What set of commands I'm getting, what set of commands you are getting. Let us compare the screen. So if you can, then click on new. Click on new. I have to say. Okay, do one thing, we'll just follow along for this particular session. Next time we will do it parallelly. Okay. Okay, so if I click on new and if I go into NX, let's say I'll just reset the settings again. Let me just reset it. Okay, done. So now you can see, so less commands are available over here. Like it is finishing right here. Okay, there were many commands which were available before. Okay, now if I start a new file, so let's say I'm starting a new file here. Sorry. Okay, once I start a new file, now what you see from this area onwards, like from this particular line where my mouse is to the right, are all customized tools, are all customized command, which you will not find in any NX installation. This is particularly my set of tools and my set of commands which I have built for my system. Okay, so you from here onwards, you will not find anything in your system. But technically from here onward to the left is what NX is. Okay, so this many commands you can see. The last command in the base group is mirror feature. Okay, so this is the last command we have in the base group, and here in synchronous modeling group we have the last command as resize blend. Okay, similarly if I go to the curve tab, you can see hardly 7-8 commands are there in the curve tab. I can count it like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 commands are there. In the surface tab there are few commands, but they are all ending here. Okay, this is the amount of command we have in the surface tab, right? So let me now get the complete NX. Now what happens is, whenever you install NX, you don't get access to complete features. Okay, you have to change some settings in order to get the access to complete feature, and the settings are present over here. I'll just show you. So before you start a new file in NX, what you need to do is only one time again. Here on the left, you will find an option called roles. Okay, here on the left, you will find an option called roles or a tab called role. Now, this particular area is known as resource bar of NX. This particular part is known as resource bar, and here you will find an option called roles. Here in role, you will have two folders. You have a content folder and you have a presentation folder. Presentation folder only controls your display, nothing else. So we need to go to the content folder, and here in content folder, we are going to select role advanced so that we can get the complete access of NX. Now, once I click on role advanced, you can notice now here the commands which were ending up till here. Now there are few commands have increased over here in this line. Okay. Now, if I start a new file, previously mirror feature was the last tool what I was having in the base group. Now we have more tab over here and I can see so many more commands after mirror feature. Right. Similarly, resize blend was the last tool initially, and now if I click on more, I have so many more tools over here. Similarly, if I go to the curve tab, earlier there were only countable 7-8 commands. Now you can see so many commands are there in the curve tab as well, and so many commands are there in the surface tab as well. So until and unless you can't see the commands, you cannot use it. Correct? Okay, so this was the first settings which we need to do. We need to change the sketching environment, and then the second thing is we need to change the roles in which we are going to perform our regular operations. So we are going to focus majorly on the CAM topic later on, but this is an introduction to CAD or designing so that you can have a basic idea about how to do designs in NX. Now I'm going to take a session in a way where we are going to compare NX and SolidWorks. Okay, I have both the softwares installed in my system. I know properly how to work in SolidWorks as well as in NX. So I'm going to throughout this session, I'll be explaining you how to make a basic sketch in NX and how to create a simple extrude and do some basic operations in NX. So that is the target for the session. Okay. So let us see how much time it takes for us to understand how to do those basic operations. Now, to start a new sketch, normally in SolidWorks, you select a plane and you click on the sketch command which present over here. Okay. Or else you go to the sketch tab. There is a tab called sketch. You start a sketch from there. So there are multiple ways of starting a sketch in SolidWorks. Okay. Similarly here, what we can do, we have a sketch command over here. Okay. Right in the home tab, you can see we have a sketch command. And just on the left of it, you can see the date and plane command as well. If you want to create any extra planes, you have the commands here. You have extrude, revolve, hole. Most of the commands you might recognize from your knowledge of SolidWorks. That extrude what it is going to do, revolve what is it going to do, hole what it is going to do. There are some commands which are you might find it different, like unite, subtract, trim body. Okay, like some commands you might find it different, but basically those are very simple commands. It will not take much time for us to understand what they do. You will find a command called edge blend, which is similar to fillet. We have chamfer, we have shell, we have pattern, all those things we have over here. Okay. Now, let us start by creating a simple sketch. Now, to create a simple sketch, we need to click on the sketch command here. Okay. Now, once I click on the sketch command, it will ask me on which plane I want to create a sketch, like the way it does in SolidWorks. Okay. So here you can see all my planes are visible. Front plane, top plane, right plane, multiple planes are visible. Okay, that is all because this particular option is on. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. In SolidWorks also you make a sketch, right? Yeah. So basically what you do is in SolidWorks, when you click on sketch command, now you can see other tabs. Okay, I'll just show it to you rather than discussing it like that. I have it on my system, right? Yeah. Sometimes it is a little low, but normally now when we are currently conversing, it is clear. Yeah, because in this system, it is a 4 i5 system what I have. So on which I'm taking a session right now. So already NX is going on and a screen recording is going on right in the background. So whenever a screen recording is going on in the background, it takes a while. Yeah, normally when other activities are not running on the system, it is quite fast, and I'm opening it after a very long time. NX particularly, SolidWorks particularly. Okay, so normally there are multiple ways of working in SolidWorks. What I used to do is I used to make the planes visible first, like making it visible on the screen so that I can see where my planes are, how my orientation is. Many people don't have this habit; they just simply work in this screen. Okay, and what they do is they just go to Sketch tab and they start working, right? They go to Sketch tab, they pick a command, like for example, you want to create a rectangle, you pick a rectangle command. Now, because you have not yet started your sketch, it will ask you to pick a plane on which you want to create a rectangle. Okay, what I do is I better select the plane and then click on sketch. So let's say if I want to create a sketch on the top plane, so I click on a plane and then create my sketch. So what happens is my plane and everything is already ready. I can just decide the command and make my sketch. Now, what happens in SolidWorks is whenever we are in the sketch command, okay, I can see these two buttons here on the top right corner. So this is an exit sketch button, right? Now, without exiting the sketch also, we can go to the feature tab and we can perform some operations over here, right? Yeah, I cannot hear you properly this time. Can you please repeat? Yeah, yeah. So we can go to the feature tab, and if I want to create an extrude, I can do that. But this is not a correct method of using SolidWorks because some commands are possible to use, but there are many commands which we cannot use it like this. So it is good to always exit your sketch, okay, before coming out of the sketch tab. So once we exit our sketch, the sketch dimensions, all the constraints and everything doesn't become visible. And we can now go to the feature tab and select, like for example, loft feature. Previously it was not available, boundary was not available. Now every other feature will be available and we can use those features. Yeah. So in NX also similar thing happens. Now let us see how the NX sketching environment is going to be. So we have to click on the sketch command here to initiate the sketching environment because here we cannot see a sketch tab, right? Huh? Yeah, but it is not a tab, it's a command basically. So in SolidWorks, we have a tab like surface, we have a complete tab called sketch. But here in the home group itself, we have a sketch command. So whatever we have here are known as commands. Okay. Whatever we have here are tabs. These are your tabs and these are your commands, right? Okay, so here we need to click on a sketch command. And now once I click on a sketch command, the software will ask me the same thing, choose a plane. Like the way it was showing in SolidWorks, like if you go and start a new sketch in SolidWorks, it asks you to choose a plane. For example, let's say I want to pick a rectangle, it asks me to choose a plane, right? Same thing happens over here. Now in NX as well, it asks me to choose a plane. So I can choose a front plane, a right plane, or a top plane because these three planes currently I have visible on the screen. Otherwise, I can choose a face or like the way you normally do it in SolidWorks, any other datum plane or anything like that. And you can see all the commands are now visible here. Your rectangle command is there, your circle command is there, your line command is there, but they are not yet ready to use. because we have not yet done the part of selection of the plane. We are yet to complete the selection of the plane. Are you getting this point now? Okay. Yeah. So now I'm selecting the top plane and I'm clicking OK. Now again you can see the same thing happened like the way it happens in SolidWorks. Again my sketch started in the top plane. Now it will take a while for you to get used to how the behavior of NX is normally. Okay, but it will not take major time. For example, if you go to rectangle, you can see the command is present over here. In SolidWorks, the commands are present here on the left side, right? So whenever you activate a command, all commands comes in this window. Yeah. So let's say, for example, if you go to rectangle command, here we have different modes of rectangle. We have a corner rectangle mode, we have a 3-point rectangle mode, we have a center rectangle mode. So you can choose it from here. Okay. So similarly, what I'm trying to explain here is whenever you start a command in NX, okay, it doesn't appear in the resource bar. Like in SolidWorks, whenever you start a command, any command, let's say for example, if I just go to sketch here, I'll keep the sketch active for now because we are comparing sketches right now. So let's say here on the left, if I activate a rectangle command, you can see the command is activated in this window. Okay, but that doesn't similarly that doesn't happen over here. The command, this window will always remain the same. The part navigator window will always remain the same, but all your commands what you active, okay, will have a separate tab. They will activated be in a separate tab. Okay, for example, huh? Yeah. So no problem, no problem. So whenever you start a command in NX, it comes in a new window. So there is a new window here, but you cannot parallelly start 2 or 3 commands. Okay, although it comes in a new window, but you cannot start rectangle and then along with that a circle command or anything like that. Whenever you start a next command, the previous command automatically get deactivated. Okay, or otherwise you can use this cancel button to deactivate the command. Now there are a lot of tricks which we are going to learn in NX. Okay, but let us learn how to make a simple sketch in NX first. Now let's say I'm activating the profile command, and it is always good habit to start your sketch from the origin or from the point of a reference what we have inside our sketch, so that it is easier for us to fully define the sketch. Okay, now I'll hide this bar. Okay, now let's say I'm starting my sketch from the origin, and here whenever I make a horizontal line, it shows me this symbol next to the line. Like in Solids also it shows you a horizontal constraint next to the line. Similarly here it shows you the symbol next to the line. Now, if I make a horizontal line, you can see there are few things. Okay, I'll press escape. You can see there is a horizontal symbol on the line. This is your horizontal constraint basically. Okay, and you can also see the measurement which has already been given to the line. Okay, so you don't have to create a smart dimension or a rapid dimension by yourself. In most of the cases, you will get all your dimensions automatically. Okay, but in SolidWorks, you have only one type of dimension, that is strong dimension. Strong dimension means whenever you change the dimension, the value basically it automatically affects the drawing. But here you can see the dimension is not yet strong. Okay, I can still drag my line around. Okay, why I can drag the line around? Because it is a dimension which is created by the software, not by me. Yeah. Okay, now let me complete my sketch. So here what I'm doing is I'm creating a few set of lines. Okay, and I created a close shape here, and now I press escape. Now basically what I can see is a complete close sketch. Now here I can see there are multiple measurements which are suggested or given by SolidWorks to me. Okay, so here we have a measurement of 199. It is showing the actual length of the current line, but normally in SolidWorks also we make the sketch first and then we start giving the dimension. That is the process what we normally follow, right? Yeah. And in SolidWorks, correct. So whenever we make a sketch in SolidWorks, okay, for example, if I try to do the similar thing in SolidWorks, whenever we make a sketch in SolidWorks, the sketch is in blue color. So that blue color indicates the sketch is not fully defined. But in yeah, yeah, but in SolidWorks we don't get dimensions automatically here, right? But here in this particular software, you can see already what is written. Sketch is okay. So you can see sketch is fully constrained, right? Already fully constrained. Even we didn't did anything, but the sketch is already fully constrained. It is as good as fully defined. But there is a catch here. Okay, there is a catch here. Huh? Yeah. So basically, what is happening here is the sketch is fully constrained, but the catch is the sketch is fully constrained with four automatic dimensions, right? So basically, we don't want this line. We only want this line. The sketch is fully constrained line. But if it is saying it is, constrained with four automatic or five automatic or 10 automatic dimensions, that means there is some areas which we have not defined. Okay, and the software is defining it. Now let's say I want this line of length 200, for example. Currently, the length of this line is 199.8. What I can do is I can double click on this dimension. Okay, and here I can change the value. So let's say 200. And once I change the value, you can notice now the dimension changes a little bit. You can see the color, there's a change in the color of the dimension. Yeah, that is what I'm going to explain. The first thing is the color of the dimension changes. And now this is the dimension which is defined by a user. Okay, so once you define a dimension by a user, so it gets a name. So this dimension now gets a name. It's now P0. Like in SolidWorks, you get D1, D2, D3, D4, right? Yeah, so similarly here you get P0. See, in SolidWorks what happens is the name of the dimension is not visible on the screen. Okay, so whenever you create a dimension here in SolidWorks, it is not visible on the screen, right? It doesn't says D1, right? But if you modify the dimension, you can see the name of the dimension now here, D1, correct? Yeah, same thing happening here. Now, why these dimensions are not getting a name? Because these are weak dimensions. Those are not defined by us. Those are automatic dimensions. Okay, but now this is a complete dimension. Now you can see the statement now changes. The sketch is fully constrained and it is telling me there is three auto dimension which is helping you. Okay, so you in SolidWorks never know the count of constraints required. Like you never know how many constraints will be required to fully define a sketch. Okay, but here in SolidWorks you always know, sorry, here in NX you always know how many constraints are required to fully define the sketch. So I need three more. Okay, so I need to only figure out where I need to place those three constraints. Now, based on my profile, let's say I already defined this dimension. Now I have a choice here. Let's say I can define either this dimension or this dimension. I cannot define both of them, right? Yeah, because already this is defined. So if I make this one 100, this will automatically become 100. If I make this one 50, this will automatically become 150, correct? Okay, so based on what dimensions I need to define, let's say for example, I want to define the length of this line. I want to make this line as 100 mm or 110 mm, for example. So what I can do, here we don't have an automatic dimension, right? Yeah, here we have it. So obviously what we can do, we can calculate and figure out, how much the value should be, but that cannot be done every time. So here I can click on rapid dimension, and using this command rapid dimension, you can create your own dimension like the way you do it in SolidWorks. Okay. In SolidWorks, it is known as smart dimension. Here it is known as rapid dimension. Same thing. Okay. Now here you can see the value for this particular line is now 120. And automatically that dimension over here of 80 is gone. Correct? Yeah. So now you can see the sketch is fully constrained, but it is still helping you with two auto dimensions. So you can further define it. So here we have two more dimensions. Let us define it one by one. Let's say I want the length of this dimension to be 50 and I want this one also to be 50. So I just double click and type the value 50 and press enter, and I can see both the dimensions are now 50, correct? Okay. Now, can you tell me the length of this line? It's 100, right? Now, we can also see a message here in the bottom. Now it is saying as sketch is fully constrained, and there is the message of auto dimension is totally gone. Okay. Now, let's say I want to make this 50 and I want to make this 50 minus 10. So 50 minus 10 will be 40, correct? So I can do all my calculations here, like 50 minus 10, 50 plus 10, or multiplications or divisions, whatever calculations you want to do, you can do it here. You don't have to separately launch the calculator mode. Same like SolidWorks. Yeah. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, let's say I want to relate this to dimension. What I want to do, whatever the value of P2 is, P3 should be P2 minus 10. Understood what I'm trying to say here? Okay. See, currently, what I'm doing is I'm typing 50 minus 10 and I'm getting the value of 40. Okay, currently I'm typing 50 minus 10 and I'm getting a value of 40. Now what is 50? 50 is dimension P3. And what is 10? 10 is the value basically. And what is 40? 40 is the value for 40 is P2, correct? P2 or P4, whatever it is. Let me check. Yeah, it's P2 here and P3 here, right? So basically what I want is P3 should be equal to P2 minus 10, correct? Okay, so I want to create some sort of equation here or relation here between the two dimensions so that I don't have to change it manually. For example, if I make this 55, this should automatically become 45, right? Yeah, I am currently modifying the value by myself. Okay, yeah. So if I make it 35, this one, so how much this one should be 25, correct? Okay, so I want to create a relation which does it for me automatically. Means currently what I need to do is I need to modify the dimensions manually one by one, right? Yes. So what I can do, which dimension I want to automate here? Let's say this one I want to automate. Okay. So I need to first make a choice which one I want to automate. So either I can automate this or I can automate this. Okay. So let's say I want to automate this one, P3. So I'll double click on P3. And normally what we do is we type here the value for P3, right? Yeah. So in place of a value, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the name of this dimension. P2 is the name, right? Minus 10. This is the relation what we wanted to achieve, correct? And here I'll press enter. So now you can see 45 automatically came here. Okay, and you can see an equal to sign is also there over here. Okay, and doesn't matter how hard I try to type, actually I'm trying to type now, but it is not allowing me. Yeah, yes. Now you can see over here, now P2 is equal to 55 and P3 is equal to P2 minus 10. Now what is going to happen if I make this 30? This automatically changes. Can you see? Yeah, it would be 20. If I double click and check, now you can see it is 20. Correct. So if I make it 55, so it should automatically become 45 again, right? Not really. Based on your diagram, based on your necessity. For example, this is for knowledge I'm sharing you. It is not necessarily that every, in every diagram you need to do this. For example, in one of your product, okay, you need this kind of relation. Whenever this value changes, this should automatically change. Okay. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. Currently, you are modeling an engine, right? So in engine, you have a diameter of a piston and you have a center to center distance of assembly. At what distance your pistons are. Okay. Or leave that part aside. You have a piston and you have a piston ring. So you want to relate both the dimensions. Whenever my piston diameter reduces, my piston ring should also reduce. You're getting my point? Yeah. So basically in those conditions, this is very important so that it is easy for me to modify the diagram in many cases. Yep, correct. Okay, now what if I want to change the formula? Let's say I want to make it P2 minus 5 mm, not 10. Okay, so I want to change my formula here. To change the formula, I can go to the tools tab. Okay, on the top, I can go to the tools tab and here I can choose expression. And when I highlight this command, you can see Control E is written in bracket. Can you see that? Yeah, so that is a short key. Okay, so if you don't want to go to the tools tab and from the home tab itself, you want to invoke, activate that command, you can just press Control E and the expression command will be active. Now, expression command will contain list of all the dimensions you have on the screen. So you can notice so many dimensions we have on the screen, right? Okay, in total 4. So you can see in expression we have 4 dimensions. 1, 2, okay, 3 and 4. And the fourth one is having the relation basically right now. Other all have a value. So I can double click here and I can change my relation. Yeah, here only. We can do it from here only. Okay, we cannot do it from here because if I double click here, I cannot see the relation here, right? Can I see the relation here? No, right? So basically, we have to change the relation. If I want to, I have to do it right from here only. Like I have to press Control E and we have to do it from here only. Just a minute. Okay, from here only we have to change the relation. Clear? Okay. Now, what if I want to remove this relation? Like totally, I want to get rid of this relation. So what I can do, I can press Control E and I can remove the relation from here. You got it? Yeah. And similarly, if you want to remove a relation from here on the screen, there is a way you can do that. You can double click on the dimension. You can see this equal to sign. If I click there, I can see an option here called make constant. If I use this option called make constant, it will remove that relation from there. See, now the relation is gone. Clear? So again, it was just an explanation of how to add manually add some relations between the dimensions basically. Okay. So it is not necessary again, it based on your model, based on your conditions, you can decide when you want to use this option and when you don't want to use this option. Clear? Yeah. Now let's say I want to create a circle here and the condition of that circle is it should be exactly in the center of this two geometries. Okay, somewhere over here. Okay, so now to create the circle, we are going to learn how to create geometrical relations like horizontal, vertical, and all those things. Now let me create a circle roughly over here. Now what I want to do is, I don't want to give dimensions to keep it in the center. Like I can give 120, half is 60, I can make it in the center. And this is 55 plus 50, that is 105. So I can make this one half of 105 and this will be in the center, right? Correct? Now, yeah. Now what I need to do is I need to make sure that this line, what I have, the center point of this line and the center point of the circle should be in line. And how I can do that? See, not even a single command is active as of now. What I'm doing is I'm picking this point and you can see a relation is coming. That is a fixed relation over here. And I'm picking this point. And now multiple relations came here. So all your relations will be available like this. You can pick the objects and you can see the relations here. Yeah. So in SolidWorks, normally you can't. Yeah, I'm just clicking it once, normal click. Okay. So clicking the midpoint and then you don't have to press control or anything like that. Okay. Okay. Remember, because in SolidWorks you have to do that. So make sure we have to, yeah. So we have to press escape first, make sure nothing is selected and pick this point and be a little patient after you click. Okay. Because this window takes a few seconds to appear sometimes. Okay. So after you click, if you move your mouse away, the window will go. Okay, so make sure once you click, so you have the window here, and now I can choose this option, vertical alignment. So this will ensure this point and this point is vertically aligned. Okay, and similarly, I can use this option for horizontal alignment as well. Okay, now I need to give the diameter of my circle. So let's say I'll give the diameter of my circle as 50. Okay, now you can currently see the again the sketch is fully constrained. Okay, now let's say I want to make this line and this line equal to each other. Okay, now currently if I do so, I will create a overdefined sketch, right? Why? Because there is a dimension here of 55 and there is a dimension here of 50. But technically they are not equal, right? And if I force it to be equal, it will not accept it. Now let's try. See, yeah. So to make an equal relation, I need to pick the line first. Now, sometime what happens is we have an overlapping geometry here, or let's say multiple geometries here, and we are it is very difficult to make the selection sometime. Okay, not in this mode. In this mode, everything is very clear and we can clearly see the objects, and there is no difficulty in making the selection. But let's assume we have multiple things crossing, from here and there, and it is difficult to select the line. Okay, so what I can do is I can wait over the line. Okay, I don't have to click, and I can wait for 3 seconds and then click. Just a minute. So I can wait over my object and I can wait for few seconds, like 3 seconds particularly, and then click. Okay, so now what will happen? It will give me a list. Now, why it is not giving me a list in the first place? Why I have to manually invoke it? Because there is no overlapping geometry. Okay, see what I did, I right click and choose select from the list, right? Okay, what I did here is I right click and choose this option called select from list. Okay, because we were not having any overlapping geometries here. But if you have an overlapping geometry like in this area, if I click, you will get this option. See, so many options are there. Okay, in this list. And you can see whenever I am hovering the mouse, it is highlighting some or the other geometry. Yeah, so basically it is telling you what you want to select. Now, because here we have a single line, it is not showing you that option here. Yeah, so basically what happens is that particular option is known as quick pick, and that automatically invoke when you click after 3 seconds. See, if you make a immediate click, whatever is highlighted, it will get selected. But if you wait for 3 seconds and then click, if there is multiple line, objects below, then you will get this option, and this option is known as quick pick. Okay, so I need to pick this line for now, and then this line, and then I can see the list of relations here. And in this list, I am looking for this relation called equal length, right? Now, if I pick this relation, you can see it is giving me a message. The sketch is over constrained after the latest edit. So whatever we did here is making my sketch over constrained. Now it is highlighting some things in red. It is highlighting this and this dimension. Correct. Yes, correct. If I want to still keep it equal, we have to delete one of the dimension. Otherwise, we cannot keep it equal. Okay. So because we cannot have two different. Huh? If we Correct, correct, correct. Okay, so let's say I want to keep this 50 over here and I want to delete this 55. So I'll just pick and delete it from here, or I can press the delete button on my keyboard. From there also I can delete it. Okay. And as soon as I delete that, you can see the changes happened and my geometry got updated. And now these two lines are equally and they are 50. Both of them are 50 right now. Okay. So this is how you can add some relations here. Similarly, you have many more commands like fillet, chamfer, offset. Okay, you can give this command a try after some time. Okay, but as of now, I would tell you to make some basic sketches only in SolidWorks, not very complicated ones for now. Okay, once in the next session, what I'll do, yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so we just made it, deleted the last dimension. That was clear to you? Okay. Now after that, I was just saying that there are many more commands like fillet, chamfer, offset, mirror, trim and extend. Many tools are there over here, which you will find, working similar to how it works in SolidWorks. So you can give it a try, but you try to make only simple sketches for now. Don't try to make many complicated sketches for now. When I say complicated and simple, it's like basic sketches for now. Okay, just try to give it a hang of how SolidWorks works with sorry, how NX particularly works in your system. Okay, now once I click on finish here, once I click on finish, you can see my sketching is done. Okay, my sketching is completed, and I can see my sketch one present in my tree. Okay, am I correct? Yeah. So now what I can do is I can select this sketch, and whatever I want I can do with this sketch. I can click on extrude, I can click on revolve. These are the two basic functions on which I can click. So let's say I'm clicking on extrude for now. Now if you notice here we have only one extrude command, but in SolidWorks we have an extrude and extrude cut command, right? Yeah. Let me show it to you here. So we have an extrude command here and we have a cut command here, right? But here in this particular software we have a single command called extrude. We don't have a cut command here. Now, how we use it, it's very simple. We can define the height here, okay? Not only that, we can also define the start value here. For example, if I keep the height of 50 and the start value of 10, can you tell me what is the actual height of this model? Yeah, but what will be the actual thickness of this model now? 40. It is 40 right now because it is ending at 50 and starting from 10. So you can see my sketch is here and it is starting 10 mm above the sketch. Okay, so if I say 25 here, so it is starting 25 mm above my sketch, correct? No, we cannot do this in SolidWorks. There are many things which you can't. So don't worry about this. You're going to see a lot of things. Now, here I give the start value of 0. Let us keep it 0 for now. The end is 50. And here we have something called as Boolean. Please, yeah. In Boolean, you can decide whether you want to merge it or whether you want to cut it. So from here only you can decide, unite or subtract. Now, because this is a very first body, I cannot do any of those two things, right? Yeah, so I'll just click OK for this and I'll create a new sketch. Let's say, for example, I want to make a hole over here. So I'll create a new sketch on this face. I'll make a circle because we already know how to do that. Let's say I want to make this circle in the middle of this side. So I can pick this center point, pick this midpoint and make it horizontal. I want to keep it, let's say 40 mm inside, and the diameter of the circle will be suppose 20 mm. Okay, now I'll choose finish once my sketching is done. So you can see how simple the process is. And now I can choose extrude again. Now this time I can decide whether I want to come forward like this. Okay, let's say I want to keep a value of 10. So I'm coming forward by 10. So I can decide to unite it for now. Correct? Yeah, it will merge. But you can see there's an option here called direction. I can flip the direction inside and I can choose subtract. So yeah, to make a pocket. Now normally in SolidWorks, you cannot do this. If you started extrude command, it is an extrude command. If you started the cut command, it's a cut command, right? You cannot toggle between both. Yeah, they have that particular features, correct? So yeah, so now if I click OK, you can see we have a cut here. Yeah, so you got my point, right? So do one thing with the knowledge we have gained as of now. Try to make some simple models in SolidWorks. Simple models. I'm not sorry in NX. Not very complicated one. In couple of days, I'll message you again, and we will have a session again. Okay, in which I'll give you more insights on how this software is different than what you are using right now. Okay. So I hope this particular session was informative for you. Okay, okay. So not a problem. I hope you enjoyed the session. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can definitely try to make those. You can make some sketches which doesn't involve much of mirror, much of offset, okay, and then try to extrude them. Or if you have some basic parts, you can definitely make those basic parts by yourself. Yeah, a simplified one. Hands-on kind of thing. Yeah, why I want you to do this, because with this knowledge I want you to do a little hands-on on the software, so that you can understand how this particular software works and get a hang of it, because currently you are very comfortable with SolidWorks. Yeah, so I want you to be just involved with the software and be comfortable with this one as well. And in the next session I want you to have some doubts in front of me, so that I can solve them related to what we have learned. Okay, and basically that will also explain me whether how much you have practiced. Okay, and then we can continue with this thing. Okay, sure. Thank you very much. I'll share the recording with you after some time. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. Sure. Bye bye.